I don't actually know where to start or like where to end with this. So Artur Beterbiev defeats Dimitry Bivol on a 12-round majority decision. Now, going into this fight, I said that my instinct was Artur Beterbiev on points. And well, that's what happened. But if you go and look at this fight, punch stats, I'm going to go and bring up the punch stats. Punch stats are not the be all and end all. Far from it. Punch stats will kind of, they'll give you a rough guide, but they're not what you would use to score a fight. But I'll never forget Jim Lampley always saying, if a fighter is landing more of his power shots than the other, chances are he's winning the fight, irrespective of the amount they've thrown and landed. If he's landed more, and if he's thrown more or thrown less, if he's landed more and he's landed in particular at a 50% connect ratio, chances are he's winning or will win the fight. That's what Bivol was doing in this fight. Now, the first 2 rounds, I gave them to Dimitry Bivol. I thought he was boxing very well. He was countering Artur Beterbiev. Beterbiev, as every round early on went on, he did increase his punch output ever so slightly. The first round, he didn't really jab that much. He did jab a little bit, but it was a very lazy jab. He wasn't really focusing and relying on it. As the rounds went on, he became a lot more jab heavy and started to jab a lot more with Dimitry Bivol. Now, again, I felt that Bivol was winning, certainly won the first 2 rounds. Round number 3, yeah, if you want to give it to him, give it to him. Personally, I felt that that's when Beterbiev won his first round. And then round 4, I thought he won a couple of the mid rounds, yes. And then as the fight was even and flowing, because it did ebb and flow this fight, but the rounds where Beterbiev was in it and he was pressuring Bivol, he was landing, but he wasn't landing a crazy amount, but he was getting countered a good bit in those rounds. Like, Bivol was definitely landing his own shots on Artur Beterbiev, and they were eye-catching shots. And crucially, the shots that when Beterbiev would pressure Dimitry Bivol, he would make him work, he would back Bivol up to the ropes, he would land just single arm punches. They wouldn't be, leaning in, winding the fist in. They'd be just these arm punches to head and body. But crucially, for every combination he would throw, Bivol was blocking a lot of them. Like, again, I don't like bringing up the punch stats, but you look at the punch stats, Bivol threw less, landed more. Beterbiev was the much busier guy. At one stage, the connect percentage ratio was almost double in favour of Dimitry Bivol, in spite of the fact that at the time they brought it up, I think it was round 10 or 11, he had thrown 200 punches less than Artur Beterbiev, which meant that he was focusing on quality as opposed to quantity. And the quality from Dimitry Bivol was shining through. Like, you could see that. Beterbiev was throwing a lot, but they were not scoring shots. So what do you do in that situation? Do you give the guy who's busier the round, even though he's not landing, or the guy who actually lands the cleaner, effective shots? He might not be landing as frequent, he might not be letting his hands go as much, he might not be throwing as much, but nevertheless, do you give him that round? Because at the end of the day, it is about scoring shots, and they are scoring shots. That's where I think the problem with this fight comes in, because and the judges were just giving Beterbiev the rounds based upon the pressure, and it was effective pressure, don't get me wrong. He was landing some shots, he was slowing Dimitry Bivol down, he was making Bivol constantly think. Bivol, I think, turned really into a counter-puncher more so in this fight, out of necessity, because he knew, right, if I'm leading, I run the risk of being countered, and that did happen a few times in this fight. In the first round, he was hit by a big right hand, I think it was a right hand anyway, from Artur Beterbiev, and it was one of the rounds where Bivol appeared to, it might have been round 6 or 7, where Bivol actually appeared to stun, certainly stiffen the legs of Beterbiev. They went back up to the ropes, and Beterbiev, it looked like a jab, a really hard, stiff thudding jab that appeared to actually stagger Dimitry Bivol and back him up. So I think out of necessity, he was thinking, this guy hits very hard, I don't want to take any unnecessary risks. Therefore, he turned counterpuncher, which was effective because he was landing, as I said, good shots on Artur Beterbiev. But clearly not enough for the judges to give him the victory. Now, at the end of this fight, and actually, I'll tell you, between rounds, I think it was 10 to 11. I think it was 10 to 11. The corner of Artur Beterbiev were urging him to step on the gas and actually said, look for a knockout. So even Beterbiev's own team, who were actually pep talking him and saying, you're not tired, were actually urging him, like, this is a close fight, you're behind, go out there and do something. So even Team Beterbiev were urging their guy on. He won rounds 10 and 11 in my opinion, just under pressure. But I actually gave the last round to Dimitry Bivol. I thought he came on very strong in that round. I thought there were times in this fight where he did great work at just stopping the momentum of Beterbiev instead of letting him build up a head of steam. Those in particular rounds, he would just, okay, you had a good round that round, I'm going to take all your momentum away. And he did that very well. Round number 12, I gave to Dimitry Bivol. Bivol and his corner looked, you know, good to go by the end of the fight. They looked like they knew they'd won, and Beterbiev's team didn't have that look. Like, you can tell, really, they might raise their hand a lot, but you can tell the corner themselves don't know. Now, I watched this on DAZN, and it was strange because I heard Andy Lee in particular saying, oh, something like that, but you could hear him on commentary and you were kind of like, I thought, is there something happening at ringside or something? Is there something going on? You saw Beterbiev celebrate, and you're like, hang on a minute, no scorecards have been announced. Then you saw Dimitry Bivol looking like, you know, just looking dejected, basically, and Beterbiev looking happy as a pig and you know what. I was like, surely, did they know the scorecards? Did someone leak it? And then they announce Artur Beterbiev wins the fight. Look, it was a competitive fight. It was close. 8-4 to Beterbiev. Nah. Now, you can't do that. Like, I couldn't find 8 rounds to give to him. You cannot look at that fight with an 8 round. Like, give Beterbiev 8 clear rounds. You cannot do that, objectively speaking. There's no way he won 8 clear rounds. No way. No way. Yes, there's a couple of rounds in there that are swing rounds, 100%. Not enough. Even if you gave him the swing rounds, not enough to justify 8-4. No way. Don't know how they managed to score the fight like that. So Beterbiev is undisputed. I'd like to see a rematch personally. I think it warrants a rematch. It was a good fight. It deserves a rematch. My heart goes out to Dimitry Bivol because I felt that he did do enough to win the fight, even though I picked Beterbiev to win. 8-4? Really? Really? Nah, I don't think it was that type of fight. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. 8-4 Artur Beterbiev. I've seen people giving this round 9-3 to Dimitry Bivol. So a lot of people felt that he didn't just win this fight, he won it comfortably. For him to now not get the decision under those circumstances, not good. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video, people. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course, always, if you haven't already. Peace.